Hi, Sarah. I just wanted to say again, it was so nice to meet you. Thanks for coming by my house the other day. I hope those yoga blocks have worked well for you. I wanted to just share a couple things that might help as you're working through these stretches and stuff. So I wrote it down on my whiteboard, so I'll take some pictures and send those to you, but I just wanted to kind of explain what I mean with each thing.
So the first thing I want to talk about is the difference between flexibility and mobility. And like your mom said, right, flexibility is a byproduct of good mobility. So your goal is to incorporate strength while you're doing your stretches so that you're teaching your nervous system, which is what's really in charge of your whole body. It stems from your brain, okay? You're gonna teach it that your hips and your hamstrings and your quads and your ankles and your back all have more mobility than your brain may think that you do. Now, I know that sounds kind of crazy, but it's really just the science behind how our bodies work when it comes to this stuff. If we don't have the strength to do a certain exercise or stretch, then our nervous system doesn't trust us. And it says, nope, we can't do that. So what we have to do is find ways to kind of trick our brain to believe that we do have that mobility so that we can.
So what you're working towards really stems from, besides the obvious core strength, lumbar strength, it's your hip capsule strength and your mobility in your hamstrings. And we achieve that by time under tension. So this is a term that you may be familiar with. It just means holding certain stretches or when we're strength training, like holding weights over our head or something for 2 minutes. So what I want you to do is, first of all, I want you to just focus on these few stretches: your pigeon stretch, your lizard stretch, and what we call a 90-90. And I want you to hold each stretch for 2 minutes on each side. I did see that you had the hero stretch options. I would like to suggest that instead of that, you do a couch stretch. So I'm gonna show you what that is. And I'm also gonna kind of walk you through some stuff that I'd like for you to do when you're in those other 3 stretches that I mentioned above. So you're gonna sit with your legs in 2 90-degree angles. And I want you to push your knees down into the floor like you're trying to make your legs as heavy as you can. Then you're gonna make fists. And while you're holding those down for 2 minutes, you're gonna twist from side to side. So from your down dog, you're going to pull one leg through into your pigeon stretch. Remember, you're gonna sit all the way down onto the outside of that front leg. Make sure the back leg, that foot is pressed down into the floor, and think about the hamstring facing up towards the ceiling. So you can stay lifted up over the hips if you want to, or you can lengthen the arms out. If you want to add a little bit of intensity here, remember to push down into the floor with that front leg. So here we move into our lizard stretch, and you're gonna rotate that front knee and front foot out. Bring the left forearm down to the floor and then use the right elbow to kind of push into that leg. Go ahead and drop the left knee, and you can pull that left heel up if you want to. Reach back with the other arm, grab a hold of it. Or you can just work on that lizard. So from the front, you can see I'm externally rotating. I'm gonna bring that outside arm down, and then the inside arm is gonna push into the leg. This is your pyramid stretch. Both feet are parallel, and you keep the legs straight. You can start with the hands at the hips and just lengthen over the leg. Make sure you let the chin come to the chest here. And then remember, we did those little movements of the back leg where you keep the heel on the floor and then you just slightly bend that back knee. trying to keep the hips square as you move through this. Do the right and the left. So from the front, you'll see I start with my hands on my hips and start in tabletop. Now, if that's most comfortable for you, you can stay there. Otherwise, go ahead and try and bring those hands down to the floor. Remember, you can use blocks as well. For your hip circles, you're gonna try and only mobilize your hip capsule, which is where like the ball of your femur joint goes into your hip socket. Everything else stays really still. For your scorpion stretch, I'm sure you've done this before. You're just gonna lay on your stomach and then you're gonna just kick one leg over and try and twist your body without moving your arms or the bottom leg.